and it's a beautiful day outside, and we are all going to sit here and talk about real estate for just a little bit. I brought along a special guest as well. This is Corey King with PS&E Plan to Prosper. So he'll be going over some specifics on what the market's doing, so what to do, what not to do in these type of scenarios, good lessons to learn from the market. So he'll kind of give you a kind of that kind of angle of everything that's been going on. So I think it's going to be really cool to have him on today, kind of hear what he has to say, and just with some tips in the market during all the stuff that we got going on. So as we do with every day, we're going to start off with some new listings within the last 24 hours that came on the market. So we'll just do a quick overview of those and kind of give you a sense of what the market is doing. So first off, we'll go to our home screen here. And we'll look at, we have 6 price decreases within the last 24 hours. We have 35 new listings in the last 24 hours. So it's kind of been holding around that 40-ish new listings a day type thing over the 4 counties over the last couple weeks. We have a few that are back on the market. So 10 that are back on the market. Again, that's over whatever we have kind of out there as far as total listings are concerned. And we don't want to see is that number spike because then maybe financing isn't happening and things of that nature. Financing in general is kind of up and down as far as rates are concerned. I know that some of the banks are tightening some of their standards up, which is a good thing. As I've mentioned before, in the last 10 years ago when we had the housing crisis, I think a lot of banks and a lot of financial institutions really learned their lessons when it came to that, their lessons the hard way. But a lot of the things that they put in place to kind of shore up all this in the last few weeks here have been directly lessons from what they learned from the last go round. So tightening up now, those standards are a good thing. They're not going crazy tightening. And on top of that, there hasn't been subprime lending on the scale that there was the 10 years prior to the housing crisis. So lending has been, for the most part, very well and responsibly done over the last 10 years. So that's a good number to look at. Continue to show those are properties going under contract. Those are 15 new properties that have gone under contract over the last 24 hours again. And then we have pending is 9 and sold 28. And then our new listings, these are brand new to the market, are 35. If we open that up, we have a few in Brighton area. We have looks like some rentals and residential properties on West Ridge Road in Clarkson. Farmington, we have a few. These are actually new builds right here. So they, as we've talked about before, new builds, they are constantly kind of expiring out and rebooting listings a lot. So not really a good barometer of what's coming on the market. Just properties that are models or that builders have kind of in the pipeline to be built in certain neighborhoods. And then we have a few in Greece. We have, looks like some Ontario properties. Those are interesting. These are, again, new builds. So new construction, models, land that might be available for sale. And then we have our residential and rental. So these are across the board. We have all these different properties kind of coming on the market within a 24-hour notice. So anybody has any questions about these specifically, definitely give me a call. This one's a rental on Crenton there for $975. I think I actually sold this house like 6 or 7 years ago. So still being rented out. We got another rental on Westmoreland. So all those rentals that are going in now for people that are looking into the area, people that are moving into the area, medical professionals, which I work a lot with, they're all looking for either rentals or to purchase right now. So then you got a couple in Brockport and then again some new builds. So kind of a new build heavy day today. Few in Brighton. So I'll definitely be following up with my people that have searches ready to go in Brighton. So other than that, we will end this little show with, as always, we have our trivia question for local business to help out support local businesses. I'm purchasing $25 gift cards and doing a contest every week. So it's Rochester Pacific Trivia. I'll put the question out there on Facebook. Everybody can kind of answer. I ask that people do an instant messenger, Facebook Messenger answer to me so that we don't give away the answers. But then we put them in a bucket and we draw it at the end of the week. And then what we've been doing the last couple weeks is we have a list of people that want to help support small businesses. So I'm putting them in there too. And we're drawing for the person that wins it and then what type of gift card they're going to get to which location. So that's what we're doing. And without further ado, we will throw it over to Corey. And Corey, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background and your business. And the floor is generally yours here.
Hey, thank you, Nate. So my name is Corey King. I work at PS&E Plan to Prosper. My business partner is Kevin Stepanoff, and then we have two assistants, Jen and Heather. Like everybody else, our business has been impacted by what's going on with the world. So at the moment, we're all working remotely. So I'm sitting here in my apartment talking to you guys right now. Basically, other than that, we're still fully up and operational. We've been doing most of our client meetings either via phone or via Zoom chat, which has been working out pretty well. And we've been taking a lot of this time to just follow up with current clients and make sure that they're comfortable with everything going on because, anybody who's looked has known that the market has been a little crazy over the last month and a half. Getting into the market right now, the S&P is back up to 2,900, the Dow's back up to 24,000, and the Nasdaq's back up to 8,700. But we're also looking at extremely low interest rates. Obviously, if anyone here is, in the housing market and you've been looking at lending, you would know that interest rates have been going down pretty steadily. So if you look at even the longer term rate, so like a 30-year T-bill, you're looking at a 1.25% yield, which is extremely low to lock up your money for that long of a time. If you bring that down to the 10-year T-bill, you're at 0.63%. So you're not getting a lot of return off of that safe fixed income. And as far as market volatility, if you look at the market any given day, it could be up 5%, it could be down 10%. But if you bring that out a little bit and look at the longer trend, since the market low on 323, the market's up 25% since then. It's still down 18% overall since the yearly high in February, but we have seen a pretty steady recovery. So it comes back down to what people should be doing and what should we be expecting moving forward. Mm-hmm. And no one knows what to expect moving forward. It's all going to come down to how quickly can the states open back up from this and how quickly can businesses be back up and fully operational before we'll really know the final economic impact that COVID-19 ends up having on the markets.
So what would you say to somebody who is maybe 10 years in investing? I think a lot of people, they have this idea that they could just jump into the market and buy everything at half off or whatever. Obviously there's huge risk in that. And what would you say to somebody who just wants to kind of, there's different stages, obviously, as you probably talk with your clients, there's different stages of goals that everybody has. And that's one of the things I go over with real estate all the time is what's your five-year goal? What's your 10-year goal? And how does the house fit into that? And so what would you tell somebody who's got a 5-year goal or 10-year goal? And then somebody maybe who is, they're getting ready to retire in the next 5 to 10 years. So how do they navigate this right now? If that's something you can get into, I'm not sure if it is or not, but tell me what you think about that.
Obviously, if someone is younger and just starting out, saving for retirement or investing, they have a much longer time horizon than someone who wants to retire in the next 5 years. So they can afford to be much more aggressive with their investments. Mm-hmm. They can have a much larger equity allocation and take on more risk, whereas someone who's going to be retiring in the next 3 to 4 years, they can't take that chance of having that huge market decline and watching their life savings go down significantly and potentially put that retirement off a couple more years while they wait for the market to recover. Mm-hmm. So I think the first step is, as you said, figuring out what your time horizon is. Is this money that you're going to need in a couple of years, or is this money that you're setting aside for a way later date and you can afford to be more aggressive with it? And from there, you're going to build out a proper portfolio.
Mm-hmm. Are there any similarities to what happened maybe 10 years ago with this type of thing that's going on right now as far as the way the market's acting or reacting to it? If I remember correctly, that was a much longer, sprawled out situation, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, with the housing crash, that came about due to improper lending. That was, they were giving money to anybody who walked into a bank, and they weren't being very careful about it. So when it crashed hard, and it took a while to recover because you saw banks and lenders have to completely redo the way they did things.
Mm-hmm.
And the housing market crashed to the point where it was going to take a while for it to recover.
Right.
With this all came about more because of interruptions in supply chain, and I don't want to say hysteria, but people being nervous about what the overall impact is going to be from COVID-19.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
whether or not there would have been a market decline if COVID-19 never happened, we can't say. But
eventually, probably there would have been something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, this was what set it off.
Yeah. So you mentioned kind of the uncertainty factor with it. How often are you seeing a lot of emotional investing right now? Are you seeing people kind of sitting back and kind of waiting for things to? What are you seeing in the market right now? And what would be something in addition to that you could recommend people kind of do when they're looking at the market and potentially investing or calling up their rep and figuring out kind of the best way to kind of shore everything up as we move forward.
So luckily, most of our clients haven't had that panic moment. Everyone that we've talked to feels pretty comfortable with where we're at. And a lot of that has to do with not taking risk that they're not comfortable with. So when something like this does happen, they know that they're going to be in an okay position when this is all done and over with.
Mm-hmm.
But in times like these, one of the best services a financial advisor, financial planner can offer their clients is taking the emotions out of it.
Mm-hmm.
When we're looking at a portfolio, we're looking purely at the numbers. We're not looking at it with the emotional aspect of, man, I don't want to see this go down, or because we're an outside observer, we're able to make decisions without fear or greed involved.
Right.
Whereas if it's your own money and you start seeing it go down, you might be more apt to make a decision that could negatively impact the future. So I would say, definitely try and take emotions out of it when you're investing. And, when the markets are going down, Warren Buffett only says the only people that lose money in a down market are the people that take the money out. The market will recover, and you have to give it a chance to do that.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Anything else any other information you can give us, or any special projects you're working on or anything like that you want to share?
Yeah. I think this time, especially if you're working from home, or even if you're not working as much and you have a lot more free time, it's a great chance to reevaluate the financial planning you guys have done. I think this is a good chance to reevaluate your budget as well. What's really necessary and what isn't necessary, and start to consider planning for things like this in the future. We always tell our clients they should have at least 6 months of living expenses saved away in a savings account that they don't touch for situations exactly like this, where all of a sudden you're not making as much money, or you get laid off from your job and you still have bills to pay. So I think it's a great time to take another look at that and reevaluate the financial planning that you're doing.
Excellent. Well, I definitely second that. I've worked with Corey, and he does a great job of kind of setting you up for the long term. And it's not a numbers game, I don't think, to him. He's very much somebody who's going to help you make those plans and have those conversations about budgeting and the 5-year plan as opposed to the 10-year plan and all this stuff. So he does an amazing job at that. So anybody that has any questions about financing, not financing, about the market and long-term planning, definitely get in touch with Corey. And Corey, if you want to put your contact information in the show notes on here, that's what I've been kind of doing with the people I've had on. And anybody that's out there watching, either now or if you kind of catch this after the live feed, if you have any questions, feel free to shoot him an email. He'll put his contact information there, and he's really good about basically what I just said, just keeping everybody talking about the overall plan and the overall flow of what you want to accomplish. So, thank you very much for being on here today, Corey.
Thank you, Nate.
Absolutely. And then real quick, I'll just finish up with the trivia question for today. And Corey, you can participate, and your roommate, Nick Gator, can participate as well. So let's see here. Where's the question? Here we go. All right. So the question for today, and I'll put it in the notes as well, and we'll be drawing the gift card on Friday. Movie star Ingrid Bergman once lived in Rochester because she was A, in love with the city's weather, B, modeling for Eastman Kodak Company, C, the wife of a medical student at the University of Rochester. So we'll have those options. If you guys have any questions, if you guys want to try to answer that question and get into the drawing, go into that Facebook question and then shoot me an instant message or Facebook Messenger over with your answer, and I'll put it in the drawing, and then we'll draw everything on Friday. So everybody have a great day, and enjoy the sunny weather out there. Do your home projects, get your gardening started. And Corey, thanks again for being here with us, and put your information in there. And everybody else have an amazing day and a good upcoming week. Thanks.